Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yeah, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day.
Alright, coming up today, and I'm going to be finishing up the wiring on the elco. It's a little windy, so you might hear that knocking on the garage door a little bit, but it's not a lot I have left. I'm still trying to determine how I want to mount the ECU and everything, but that's not going to be included in this one. I'll figure that out one of these days. But eventually, I need to get that mounted up. I could zip tie everything up there, but I'm out of zip ties. But today, pretty much have to lift the car up, take this battery cable, and figure out how I want to route it. If I want to route it up along the frame, and then cross it over the core support, and then up to the positive side of the battery, or if I want to run it up underneath, take it along the cross member, run it under the steering shaft, put a couple clamps here to tie it down, and then up to the positive side of the battery that way. Still debating. I think the cross member would be the more logical route rather than looping it all the way around. So that's what I'm planning on. Just have to find some clamps to be able to secure it. Like I said, no zip ties or anything. So I think I have some P clamps for the fuel lines and everything. They might work on here. They might, yeah. It should fit. So I might use a couple of those just to secure it to the frame and then up to the battery. So I probably have to cut it down to length a little bit. I do have more terminals. I believe they're the right size. I hope so. Yeah, they look like the same size, so I really just need one of them. And then I think I have some heat shrink, so I'll throw some heat shrink on there too, just in case. At the time I only had blue. I don't know why, but red definitely would be better. But I think I just have black, so it'd be black heat shrink on that. So like I said, mostly just a battery cable today, and then just connect the Terminator X back up. Move those out of the way, and then put a ring terminal on this wire. I'll connect to the positive side just to give power to the junction box, or the little junction, little stud on that side to give power to the relay box. So that's the plan today. And I was thinking about relocating the wire from the alternator, so that one comes all the way around and back down to the starter. Eventually I need to clean up these 3 or 4 wires, clean up those, and I was debating if I just want to take it from the alternator directly to the battery, but then you'll just have one wire just straight across. So I might keep it tucked away going to the starter instead of directly to the battery for now. Later on I might wire up something else in between there, so we'll see. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Should be a fairly simple day, hopefully, as long as no more surprises pop up. What is this? I don't know when that broke off, but I knew something was missing here. Oh, I know it goes there, but we'll see. But yeah, get all that buttoned up and give power to the car, make sure everything works like it should, and then I'll probably come back up underneath and, like I said, just start trying to remove the alarm out of here, so every time I hit the brake, it's not chirping. So yeah, we'll get all that figured out, and we'll go from there. But all right, so we got the elco up on the ramps. When I do the ramps, I like having one side reversed. That way, there's little stoppers on the back of them. If it rolls either way, it's going to get stopped one way or the other. That's just me. I know you're supposed to drive up on them, but I jack the car up and just place them underneath. Obviously, it'll be different if you drive up on it, unless you have some serious skills behind the wheel. But I've had this jacked up in a while, and I thought the Monty sat lower than the elco, which it probably does, but it's on 20s versus 17s, so that's probably why this sits a little bit lower as far as that cross member. On the Monty, I can get that 4x4 on the jack and jack it up that way. Just had to do the 2x4 on the elco, so it's a little bit lower. But yeah, let me climb up under here. I know I really haven't showed up under the elco much at all. Like I said, it's a junkyard motor, so still a little crusty. I just pretty much dropped it in, didn't do anything to this one like I did with the Monty. But this one's going to need some love here in a little bit. I know the Monty's got the full pretty much treatment up underneath of it. This one has a little bit, but not much. Like I said, the whole steering linkage was replaced on the Monty, which I think this one's needing it soon. The sway bar, I'm not sure if this is aftermarket or not, I forget, but it does have some QA1s, so they're a little older, but they were at the little less expensive when I got them, but they've been on here for probably 7 years, 8 years maybe. But yeah, it's just basic LS swap, dirty deco mounts, the 302-2. I think this is actual Holly pan. I think I might have splurged on that one. But yeah, similar. It's all truck accessories, just ICT billet tensioner. It's different, flexible lower radiator hose. Not much else under here. I think Champion radiator, Intrepid fans. Nothing too fancy, just 2-in-1 and a 2 exhaust. I might have went over it in a different video and might have edited that out. It might be upside down for a little bit, but should probably get that away from the exhaust a little bit. But yeah, T5 manual transmission. So nothing too fancy, but just climbed up under here to get access to the starter. So I'll get this main wire off. It got real dark. Let's get the main starter wire off and reroute it. So it might be upside down. I might go back through and turn it around, but I'll probably run it right alongside the cross member here. Try to find somewhere to mount it. Might use that same mount as the brake line. Just take that bolt out, put a clamp in there, and do it that way. Really don't want to do it in front with the steering linkage. Don't want anything rubbing there. But yeah, let me turn this right side up. So I could take it from the starter. Now that's still putting away a bunch of moving parts. So yeah, just run it alongside the back side of the cross member. Go up through here, and then just alongside the top of the frame on that side, and that's how I'm gonna do it. So eventually get that secured. right alongside there, and we should be good. But yeah, that's just a little quick preview. When I do pull the motor and transmission out of here, probably in the fall, I'll order a correct cross member. Right now it's just a modified stock cross member, but it's been working. But yeah, see a lot of you guys out there with the QA1 sponsorship. I might need to throw my hat my name in the hat for that. I still need to do the rear on here. It's just stock rear suspension. Well, not rear suspension, control arms and everything. I do have Ebach 1-inch lowering springs all the way around, and I think, I'm not sure on the shocks. But yeah, QA1, if you're listening, I could use some love on the elco. I know I went UMI on the Monty, but you got the best of both worlds, right? You have different competitors on different cars. Whoever wants to sponsor me, though, just holler at me. I'll take QA1 off, put UMI on it if QA1 wants to sponsor me. Vice versa. QA1 wants to sponsor me, I'll take the UMI off. Just let me know. Full sponsorship. But yeah, let me get that battery cable out and cut you guys back on here in a little bit. I think I have the length I need. It'll be that piece of tape there. The battery cable will run alongside the wheel well. I'll tie it down there. And then second tie down, probably right behind the steering shaft with plenty of clearance, so won't get pinched by anything. I'll probably throw some heat wrap where it comes alongside the frame here, in between the frame and the header. I'll throw some heat wrap over the battery cable there. I just slide some of this on it. I'll climb up under here one more time. Was able to find 3 zip ties, so I just run alongside the frame, and like I said, I'll use that bolt or that tie down for the brake line, and I might insulate it or put that heat wrap alongside there too, so it's not touching anything. And then obviously I'll just run alongside the frame up to the starter, and we should be good. So yeah. It's pretty easy to cut it, so I'll cut it right on the bottom side of that piece of tape. And to do that, I'll use those right there, and I'll use those, and I'll take a razor blade to cut the actual sleeve away from the cables. Throw the terminal and the heat wrap on there, and then get a hammer and this guy right here, and that should make our battery cable. So yeah, it's getting close. I'll button that up, and then I'm thinking I'll take these wires here, and I'll run them. Thought about running them on the inside of the header. I think there's a spot where I could keep them real close to the engine block. Throw some heat wrap on there also, so they're not melting, and just have them tuck on the inside for a little bit cleaner look. So that's probably what I'll do. But yeah, just trying to clean off some stuff, get everything buttoned up, wired correctly, and so we can stop having problems. I know it looks like a mess without the engine cover on, but we'll hide some of that stuff. Not as good as we did over here, even though a lot's still showing, but it's not. Same thing with this. Once the engine cover's on, it hides a bunch of stuff. So yeah, I know a lot of people ask about the clearance with the truck intake. With me, I don't mind it. You can see it rubs just slightly on there. There and there. So those two spots. This is with the Dirty Dingo mounts, and it clears fine without the engine cover on. But once the engine cover's on, like I said, it rubs slightly, but that's not a big deal to me. If you have a cow hood where it goes up in that section, it shouldn't be a problem. Well, with the stock hood, depending on the color of the hood and the color you paint the intake, you might not be able to tell, but I know that might upset some people, especially if you have a show car. If you just have a street car, let it rub a little bit. Obviously on this one, the intake's a lot lower, so definitely don't have any issues there. The only issue I had was with the other alternator. There's two different sizes, so these are both the smaller alternators, so they cleared just fine. Same thing with this intake. I think this is off of a MBS, or the new body style trucks like I have. I saw one at the parts store with the exact same one, so I think that's what I pulled it off of at the junkyard. But yeah, that clears just fine also. All right, so I know I showed a lot of stuff, and I mentioned how it was going to be. I ended up cleaning it up a little bit, so I ended up changing some stuff. It gives it a cleaner look. I still need a new AC delete plate, but I'll turn the camera around and show you guys real quick. So the ECU is going back inside. I know I said it's going to be mounted out here. It's going back inside just to keep a clean look under here. Like I said, once I get the new AC delete plate, I'll get an actual pass through, and we'll get all that situated. I still need to disconnect the map sensor, the map sensor. Just disconnect that hose, run it back through, and then plug everything back up once it's inside. I had to cut the gray and yellow, gray and red wires for the fans, and just run those through, extend them a little bit, and just reconnect those. The ground from the ECU, or one of them, I ran here instead of up on this post, which I need to get a different nut for that, but for now that's gonna work. And then there's a red wire also that needed to be connected to, it says the battery, but it's pretty much just a extension of the battery. So eventually I'll rewrap all this stuff in some wire loom to clean up that look. I did tuck in some of these wires a little bit behind the fuel rails, so well, could have tucked it up under, but I went over, but tucked that out of the way a little bit. These starter wires, I pulled those back through, and I shortened them up a little bit just to clean them up. Still need to run them through. It looks like a mess over here, but watch, once this gets out of the way. So that's just the power for the Terminator X. So still need to secure that back here. But all this whole branch from the Terminator, that'll go for the mat sensor. So once I put the intake in, that'll be installed. But I took this whole branch here and I tucked it behind the fuel rail, so it's a little less congested up here. Cleans it up a little bit. Wideband sensor and all that stuff, I could tuck that back here if I wanted to, or hide it up under the engine cover. It's going to give it a lot cleaner look. Like I said, most of that will be tucked back up under the dash, and we'll go from there. But yeah, I like how it's coming along. Yeah, I'm going to have to hide all these wires again, but there's plenty of room up under here where I could actually secure them, and we should be good. So let me finish buttoning all this back up. Plug that back in. That's for the hot wire kit, so I'll probably just run alongside here and come up. But yeah, definitely cleaning up the wires. and hopefully here shortly I could actually put power back to them. And all right, so coming out today, you hear the winds up to this thing again. Hasn't been calm all week, so you might hear that in the background. Well, almost forgot one thing, but just need to terminate this red wire here, or put a ring terminal on it, and then I'll attach the terminator X, the relay box, and the main or the battery to the starter, that line. I'll attach those, but before I do that, because I've already tapped it to the positive side and the alarm just started chirping, so what I'm gonna do is just climb up under here and try to figure out all these wires, what's going on. I know it'd be a lot easier if I took the dash out, but I don't think I'm gonna do that. I might take the, well, no, I won't make it. I'll just figure it out, clean up some of those wires, and pretty much eliminate the alarm for now. And after I do that, then I'll put power to it. And with the wind like that, I don't know if I want to get it out, but I'll at least start it up, let it run for a while, see if after about a minute or two if the car shuts off or not. If it doesn't, we fix our fuel pump problem. If it does, we have bigger problems. But yeah, let me get to ripping out all the wires up under the dash, reconnect some stuff, and go from there. Right, so I obviously still need a new dash, and then figure out where I want to mount the ECU for the Terminator X. But man, how clean that is now compared to before, with all that mess in the floorboard, everything under here. Like I said, it's all nice and neat. I still want to get some wire loom to hide those wires a little bit, but we should be good. Everything else is plugged in, I believe. One final check. Went ahead and straightened up all the wires up under here, so that's all good. Just need to tuck those up, but those are speaker wires, so eventually they'll either run along the side or the passenger side. I don't think I'll bring them along the driver's side. So speaker wires run through the little sill on the passenger side. Tuck those up in there, and we should be good. But let's see if I ripped out something I wasn't supposed to, or it should be all good. So we're all good there. No alarms chirping. So alarm's disconnected. Let's make sure I didn't disconnect something that was supposed to be on there. Windshield wipers work. Alright, the one thing I wasn't paying attention to is if I heard the fuel pump or not. So, let's see. Yep, there it goes. It had fuel pressure, I just didn't hear the pump prime. I think we're good to go. I let it run for a little bit. Pay attention to the fuel pressure, and then just pretty much make sure the car doesn't shut off. Also see once it warms up if the fan's cut on or not. So yeah, but man, it's a big difference. Definitely need a new dash. Like I said, I try to put padding and stuff on it and fiberglass it, rondo it, and cut out this whole section. And yeah, it's a mess. So you gotta figure that out. Tighten up the belt a little bit. Yeah, definitely making some progress. You know what I could do to bypass that, do this, just cut down the temperature on when the fans cut on, and we should be good if I remember. Yep, so fan 1, just drop it down. It's already at about 70. On temp. Let's try it that way. There we go. So messing it all up now. What was I doing? So they are cutting on, at least one of them. Just gotta stop fat finger and everything and figure it out. But you guys get the point. Fans are cutting on. At least one of them for now. So yeah, reset these, let it run for a little bit longer, and we'll go from there. So I hit 160, fan 1 just came on. Nice and good. Used to have this one hooked up at fan 1, so I guess when I wired them up, I might just swap them, but it's all good. Leave it. It's been running for a little while, so no problem so far. Just letting it do its thing. Air fuels look good. Well, a little on the high side, but it's good. Coolant's good. battery voltage is good, so everything's charging. Oil pressure is good. RPM's starting to come down a little bit, so it's looking pretty good so far. Still sit out here for a little bit longer. See if it warms up enough to get fan 2 to kick on. I think I had that set at 180. So that's what I'm talking about. I was just watching it, and after you rev on it and lay off, it comes down and gets real lean. So I'm gonna have to look at that. It didn't quite shut off just yet, but it was close. You could feel it started to hesitate a little bit, but it came back up. So the air fuel shot up, and then when it's coming back down, he got real lean. So that could just be getting on it and laying off real quick. But then again, I still want to get that checked out. So I might go in, mess with the tune a little bit, give some time to self-learn. But yeah, it's definitely in the tune, I think. Yeah, it's cleaned up the wiring, so the wiring's good. Fuel pump, or the fuel pressure never dropped. It was just the car leaning out a lot. So I have to look into that. But yeah, fan 2 should kick on right about now. So that's kicked on. Good there. Yeah. But that's about it. I'm gonna probably grab the memory card out and go plug it into the computer and check on the tune a little bit. See right there, it got real rich. So I think it's in that when it's coming back down, see, and that's when it wants to start hesitating. So I might have to check into that on the lower RPMs. But yeah, I'll mess around with the tune a little bit. It really needs to get professionally tuned. But for now, I'll probably try to do them at the same time, have somebody look over both of them. But yeah, we'll get it figured out. But I know it's took a little bit longer. It's probably over 3 different videos of me getting to this point, but it's wiring. Want to double check, make sure you're doing everything right. Man, it's looking a lot cleaner. I like it. The only thing I'm concerned with now is if I hooked the fans up on this correctly. So I'll go back, watch the video when I did it, and then if I need to change a few things, but we should be good, hopefully. Yeah, but it's a little chilly out with the wind, so I'm gonna close up everything. What was that? So disconnected. I still gotta unwrap all this stuff and take that out. So yeah, now I'll call it a day.